Reality.
UFOs.
Science.
Consciousness.
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
That might not be a real thing. The podcast.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. I'm your host, the Candyman, here with Danny D and Macca. We have a buddy of ours over today, my buddy John Welch. He is a jack of all trades, as I have heard you described as that by more than one person.
I'll accept it.
You gotta
A little closer.
Well, you can pull that mic back.
All right.
You can
There we go.
Exercise the functionality, John.
There you go.
There you go. So John works. We grew up. High school level?
High school level, yeah.
And then college. We had a ballsy time in college. Motorcycles, bodybuilding, parties. It was fucking classic.
Yep. Times.
Then you grew up, got married, like a bunch of people. You work. Well, some people got married, some people grew up, got married and had kids, but not everyone did all three. Like, I got kids, but I wouldn't say I grew up too much.
I have lots of kids.
Maybe comparative to like 13-year-old me, but definitely not like too much. There hasn't been much progression since. But
I hear you.
There's one of each out of us. Because I have 0 kids, 0 marriage.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. But you grew up.
I grew up.
You are grown up. You're
up.
the most grown up.
You're a lot more grown up than me, and I have 4 kids.
Right. Yeah, right. So you have 4 kids, right?
Yeah.
But you got a bad ticker, so that's kind of like getting old.
Ever since I got a bad ticker, now I just live my life however the fuck I want.
Yeah, it's kind of a blessing. When that happened, when it happened, I was like, it's kind of a blessing in disguise, man. You're living free now.
I'm in remission now anyway, so I'm doing pretty good.
But anyway, so Johnny works at this company of our buddies. They're doing pasta dyes. Shout out to Mari Pasta Dyes. They make, John, tell us a little bit about pasta dyes real quick.
So we...
Because no one ever knows what they are.
Yeah, so when you go down the aisle at the grocery store, you see your rigatoni, your spaghetti, your SpongeBob mac and cheese. Those all come through dyes, and we make all those dyes. So we're the only pasta dye manufacturer in North America. So you're walking down the aisle, 90% of what you're seeing comes through our dyes.
It's like an extruded out of a mold.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
So
a form.
It plays into what a lot of the stuff you do. Cause
It does.
So
Yeah.
before I knew what a dye was, dye is the end piece of an extruding machine. Right.
Right.
And
they make chalk that way too.
Yeah.
It's like, remember the little Play-Doh machine? You press the lever and it
exactly.
squirts out the shape?
Bingo.
That's it.
Exactly.
That's a dye, people.
It's connected to molds and shit
So
like that. It's a little
this
different.
dude has physically programmed the computer, handled the material, all the necessary steps required from brass rod to finished product, and then they send it off to like Kraft, and then they make Star Wars and Shrek pastas.
That's it.
And you guys do that.
We do
which
that.
is awesome. But you
Like SpongeBob, right?
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. We did the Star Wars one.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, oh yeah.
What happened to those dyes?
It's the real deal. I know. You should have got one. So you wanted to come on and talk about an issue that was on your mind, and it's something that I think about all the time too. And so you have John Francis Designs. It's like your custom handcrafted wood product.
Yeah, woodworking, wood carving, and pre-COVID we did. I did carving classes, spoon carving classes, a couple times a month.
Oh,
so,
that's cool.
Yeah, which kind of ties into what we wanted to talk about.
How did you like that, teaching it?
I loved it. It was
oh yeah, it's fun.
It was a mixed bag. So you've got I enjoyed teaching people to craft, and part of what I wanted to talk about today was the joy you see in somebody's face when they realize they are capable of making something.
Yeah.
Because as a society now, kind of generalizing, but a lot of people work in front of a computer all day, so there's nothing physical. You're not making anything. It's all on a screen. So to take your hands and craft something is
a major detachment from the product, the end product that you buy, and like, I made some money and I bought this, versus like, I crafted this out of scratch.
Yeah.
I was going to teach a class at Michael's has like classes you can teach, and I was going to teach a class, and then COVID happened. I had it all, like, people signed up for it. I had to give refunds and stuff.
Yeah.
Sucked.
So that part was great. Sometimes you're in a room for 4 or 5 hours with 4 complete strangers. So managing personalities was kind of interesting but beyond that, the classes were great. So
I have taught martial arts for years. But when I started teaching people how to grow pot, that's when I dealt with exactly what you're talking about right now. You got like you got someone that knows more than you, but they're taking your class,
right.
And then they've got the other person that's asking a million questions. It's like, this is too basic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, it takes a long time to learn a craft.
That and managing people's expectations. They're coming in like off the street and they're expecting to be excellent, or there's a lot of.
Do you ever notice a time when like a lot of the things I'm into now, like there was a magic to it? And like
you're
magic,
a craftsman,
yeah, of course, the magic gets lifted. Like at some point, do you ever notice that? Like people can do things as long as they learn how to do it. Like
practice makes perfect.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, practice with good instruction too. I mean, there's
technique for sure.
You can't just jump in not knowing what the hell you're doing.
Right.
That's what humans do. We come up with a process or a technique to do a certain thing the best way.
Right. And like my teaching method was more, I think there's a million different ways to get to the same end result, and it's different for everybody. And like I know some people teach a class like this is the way you do it. It didn't matter how you do it. What works for one person doesn't work for the next person, and so on.
You want me to throw the ball? No, you good?
Yeah. So is that kind of where, why don't you just give us a overall description of your company?
All right. So, do you want me to start at the beginning where things? All right. So,
what kicked it all off?
One thing I know is before that is that when did you buy your condo?
2009.
All right. I remember my brother, who is not a craftsman.
Right.
If the world ends, he can't make anything.
Yeah, it'd be tough. He brewed his own kefir that time. That was like the closest he's come to crafting anything, and I was proud of him. He's taking care of these cultures of milk and drinking them and whatever. But that was a big deal because this dude was like having stomach problems. He read about beneficial bacteria. What do you want, baby?
Nothing.
You give me a look.
No, I'm not.
Okay. He read about beneficial bacteria. He started learning, probiotics and how like the ones you buy in the store are like mostly just shit, like placebos, and he started brewing these live cultures, and it made him feel better. He started passing out live cultures to people in case they wanted to start doing their own. But there was a satisfaction in that he had where he was like, I brewed this kefir. I've been keeping it alive for 6 months.
Yeah, something very primal.
But when he went to your condo, he came back and he was like spellbound. He was like, John Welch is an amazing craftsman. He made all this shit in his house, and he was like, it's all amazing. He's like, I couldn't make any of it. And so I remember my brother's like, he doesn't get too exuberant with the praise unless something's really, really
very true,
knocking him off, saying, hey, wow, that's amazing. And so I took it as John's a craftsman. He's a jack of all trades.
Yeah.
If you can impress your brother.
Yeah.
In
that guy can craft some shit talk. I'll tell you that.
That's the benchmark for success.
John's an artisan. I mean, he's an artist that makes things that are useful, which is what an artisan is.
Yeah.
So Sean was asking.
All right. So
Macca was,
So where did the fairy tale start?
It was probably 7 years ago, I think. So we got the townhouse, started buying some woodworking tools to do crown molding and flooring. And
you had never done any kind of woodworking?
No. So growing up, my parents were very handy. It was an old house. My dad was always working on the house. So I was around when my dad was. He wasn't necessarily like this is how you do this, but I was exposed to it. You know what I mean? So, so I started doing some stuff around the house. Ran out of projects. I don't sit still well. I like to keep busy. I really like to cook, and I saw it was either on YouTube or Instagram. I saw somebody carve a spoon. I was like, I bet I could do that.
I could go for that.
Order a couple knives on Amazon, and I carved a spoon, and then everybody gets spoons for Christmas.
What'd you use for wood?
Fucking love them, too.
Yeah.
That painting behind you is painted by a kid that works for us and works with us, really. And those are like marijuana leaves from plants that I grew, but he like dries them out, and he put like a Jackson Pollock type thing on it.
That's nice.
Yeah. It's Travis did that. The army kid from last week. We call we call it Ganja Bukkake, the Ganja Bukkake series by TM. But that's a craft. He's selling those to people for Christmas.
Yeah, that's awesome.
John, what kind of wood did you use?
Well, the first one, because I had no idea what I was doing, I used poplar, which I now know is not great for cooking utensils. But
right. Okay,
but
that's how you learn, though.
That's how you learn. Yeah, exactly.
Would you eventually? Oh, okay, no, I don't have a question. Keep going, guys.
All right. So anyway,
you're a craftsman.
I started out with that,
thinking.
but I didn't have a lot of room at the house because we have I have a garage, but I have to park the car in the garage. I can't turn it into a workshop. So it was like it got to a point where I needed more space. So I wound up renting a studio over at Western Ave Studios, and it was.
That's when you went semi-pro.
Well, I just wanted a workspace. Do you know what it was? I had a relative. I think it was a combination of things, but I had an aunt that passed away, and I think there was this moment where, so growing up, I always knew I like to tinker, I like to do stuff with my hands. I always imagine when I'm retired, have this cool shop, I can go in there, do whatever kind of shit I want to do. Like, cool. I had no idea what I wanted to make, I just wanted, a shop I could putz around in. And it kind of clicked, like, I have my health, I have the means now. Now's the time to do it. You know what I mean? Who knows if I'm going to ever get to that age or what's going to happen.
It's very fulfilling too.
It is. Yeah.
If there's like a underlining meaning that I want to bring to the show, that's it. It's do it right now while you're alive and able. Because
absolutely.
Like, tomorrow you're going to get crippled.
Like, to finish a big project, it's or any project, it's just there. It is, man.
Yeah.
I love it.
I made this.
Yeah.
So it started there with making kitchen stuff, and then it kind of evolved. Like I as my skills grew, I grew into more decor type items, sculptural type items, and started teaching classes.
So right now, if that's a Wing Chun dummy right there.
Yeah.
That's to practice Wing Chun Kung Fu, right?
All right.
But those are handcrafted out of wood, and they're expensive to find.
Absolutely.
You could make one that would be.
Bury that one.
Yeah.
So my buddy Johnny Antista makes things out of handcrafted wood.
All right.
He's crafted bow and arrows. He's crafted snowshoes. He's crafted all these other like basic things that you kind of get into when I guess you're doing some of these tutorials.
Absolutely, yeah.
But he's straight up made a rowboat.
Nice.
What's your breadth or repertoire? What's your give me the range of your work right now?
It goes from spoons, little candle holders, things like that, to have done like sculptural mirrors, to have done for like an ice cream shop, their counters and their whole display and things like that. So I tend to like to do.
Dan does that shit.
Smaller.
This is very similar, just in wood, and mine's in usually like
Dan does resin
and ornamental plaster and things like that. Yeah.
I prefer the smaller type items. Just even. When you take on something big like that, you're just chipping away at it for like weeks and months. It just kind of takes.
Small can be harder too with a lot of details.
Yeah,
depends. Do you have you branched off into like bone and different things like that?
I haven't done anything like that.
No.
It's just purely wood. And like
Did you show him the photos?
Included some.
I showed him my ring that I'm wearing.
That's pretty. But
metal into it. But
new ring. That's pretty amazing.
Oh wait.
He's got a guy in Indonesia, and they don't make a lot of money over there. So when you buy stuff in this country, it's like $20 for a piece of shit.
Right.
So Dan's like, hey, I got this guy found in Indonesia on the internet. I send him $20. It's like more than he makes in a week.
And I'm a sculptor.
Spent days sculpting in a ring out of bone.
Well, I remember it was a while back, but you did that. Was it a Mexican restaurant that all the skulls on the ceiling and stuff? That was crazy.
I've been trying to make
Tequila
a reservation
bar, right?
there, and it's funny because I called the other day. I'm like, for my mother-in-law's birthday, they wanted to go there, and I'm like, hey, so all the art you guys have around and
echoing a little off
and
this.
And the ceiling. And the rose sculpted in the center. I did all that. So I was trying to like name drop for the first time in my life and use some influence to get a reservation. And they didn't give a flying fuck.
So it was what? So you covered the whole roof and stuff?
Yeah, it was in the ceiling. We did 1,500 really hard plaster skulls. It's a special plaster called Hydrocal. And I cleaned them all up with a knife and sandpaper and shellacked them in an amber shellac, stained them with the antiquing wax. And then I didn't install them, but I made 1,500 of those out of 7 molds, and a whole summer it took, and then it was real monotonous. And then I sculpted a giant rose for the centerpiece, and we painted it, and they installed it, and we made all the centerpieces too that hold like roses. We made those
nice.
Too. So it was fun. We do a lot of stuff like that. We did a bar front with blue resin skulls. It was similar, same owner, different bar.
So you're doing woodwork for businesses, or they're like custom work, and they'll say, "Hey, give me this." I want
exactly. I mean, it kind of depends on the job.
It's funny. I just ordered a wooden thing.
Did you?
You know what? Businesses these days, if they can have somebody like take a selfie and like something or share it on Facebook and Instagram now, like that's part of the reason why getting really cool decor done and custom decor is like a big thing these days.
Absolutely.
It's like if you sculpt like a huge, awesome piece like these busts we did, like people take selfies with it, like because it's like, oh my god, look what they got here.
Absolutely,
it sets them apart from just like regular shit from like Bed Bath & Beyond.
Carving.
So
yeah,
that's one of the things that I don't know, because when you're in class, when I'm teaching classes, you're there with people 4 or 5 hours, asking you all kinds of questions. So usually when people get into like the woodworking or artisan type business I have, the whole goal is to go full time. Like that for most people. So people are always shocked to find out that is not my goal. Like I like the balance. I like my day job. It pays my bills. So I can say no. Like I get approached to do things for businesses.
Freedom.
And I can pick and choose the jobs I want to do. It's not like, oh, I have to pay the mortgage this month. I have to take this crap job. I can kind of,
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. It's
like I'm a whore when it comes to like, I you know what though? I
am too.
It's different, but I see what you're saying though.
I don't like that word.
Your wife turned you into one, or
yeah, I living a dream, whatever that is. That's all.
I am too. Well, let me tell you something. I have like a list in my back of my mind of people that I would like put on a special team for post-apocalyptic village or like an off-grid living society, right? Like you just made the list.
All right.
Because woodworking.
Oh my god,
well,
yeah, that'd be huge
I mean,
in the apocalypse.
like if you need I can also weld.
Yeah.
Work on cars. Like,
I can't go near a welder.
I can cook like a motherfucker. It's one of the few things that I'll.
Yeah,
I'm
you
not
do
big
like
on-
to. You do like to cook. I've heard this.
Yeah.
You have a big. You like to do a.
Don't
big
you think
to-do.
that all humans like should have some skill, like anything, like knitting or something, like with your hands?
And you're saying skill as in hands. skills.
Anything.
Like what?
Yeah.
Like Maka, right now, lights go out, the power grid goes down. Nobody cares about whatever it is you do anymore, right? What do you know how? Can you start a fire in the woods right now if I put you in there? I can do like 9 techniques to start a fire.
But like I can get us out of being murdered by
I was going to say he could manipulate somebody else into
Yeah,
making a fire.
maybe governing skills.
partnership
with
man.
his smooth eyes and hands.
That's it,
Maybe. No, any reasonable, intelligent person.
Give him one,
That
John.
that soothing voice.
Maka, this has got to become a thing for guests. Give him one, just one touch. Slide your hand smoothly over that.
His are pretty good.
Is that
too.
smooth?
It is
Oh,
smooth,
his is smooth from sanding wood,
My hands-
working things down.
Well, you
My
got
hands
to
are gross.
lotion them,
That's right.
The,
Proper lotion.
I lotion my hands every day, but I'm working in plaster. It sucks the life out of your hands. So my hands, look at them like old ladies.
you got to use that O'Keefe's working hand.
I have it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I have it. It doesn't matter. I use it all. It's just dusty all day.
Since our podcast is not video yet, I'd like to let everyone know that Dan is wearing full black nail polish. And that's great because
These are done at the nail salon.
It
Lisa's
doesn't
nail
look
salon.
out of place at all. As a
Not at
matter
all.
of fact, it
Yeah.
looks like it feels right.
I'm wearing my new leather pants.
I was going to say he's got leather pants on.
If I saw Dan on the street, I would
handmade
assume he's
boots.
in a rock band, like a famous one, not just.
He's a proper rocker. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I figured being a sculptor,
You'd be like,
restoration artist, though, is pretty rock.
Do I know you
Yeah.
from somewhere? No. Are you sure? Yeah.
Went to the Village Inn last night to eat and
Get
drink
out of
it.
town.
And there's all old people there, and they looked
that's
at me like I was Marilyn Manson
Oh
when I
my
walked in.
God, bro.
like
That's
couldn't
their
look at me.
favorite. That's their favorite spot in town, I
They
think.
love it.
Definitely.
And I think that like someone
Yeah,
like you
especially.
going in there is like probably like
It's shocking.
with the virus going on and all that. They're like, this is it. It's the apocalypse. These fucking people are running around.
Fucking Mad Max.
What? You know what happened to me with I obviously garden pretty hardcore, and I'm pretty mechanically inclined. Like I've done some engine work, and I'm like I would consider myself a jack of all trades as
Right,
well,
yeah.
right? I feel like
As well as a scientist.
Yes, thank you, thank you.
Possibly not certified.
Possibly not.
But
Well, it turns out you don't need any certification to teach at private schools, apparently.
That's true.
No, you don't.
Yep.
So I'm going to become a science teacher someday at a private school, and you guys are going to eat a big bag of fucking
At BG,
shit.
you didn't have to be.
I don't know if they
just
let me.
to teach
No, they wouldn't
Dan
let
and
you.
I a lesson.
Hey, No,
1 year of science
right.
teacher.
I've been wanting to do it my whole life, so whatever. When I grow up, I'm going to become a science teacher, Sean, okay? Eat it. I'm going to send you a picture, and, you might be like 65, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to be like, fuck you. I might be in a village in Thailand where the kids don't have good science.
I don't have an art degree, but that's not a doctor either.
Right.
It's all based on skill, like whether you're better than somebody else. That's your portfolio. That's it.
Yeah, people today can't make anything on their own. Not really. Well, this whole lockdown, people learned a lot of shit on
huge
YouTube.
For it. Yeah, absolutely.
Though there's plenty of talented people out there.
Yeah, but they didn't
it's
know.
a very small percentage.
Okay, the bread thing, the sourdough phenomenon that swept the country.
Oh my God!
I was
Everybody
I was ahead of that by about 10 years. Yeah. When I got my motorcycle crash, I have no idea why. I suspect this is just a theory.
All right.
First of all, I grew up working in the restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
I do like to cook, but I wouldn't say that it's like a burning passion or even a passion of mine. Like I will cook something once in a while and be like, look at that. That's great. Terrific. Most of the time I cook, it's for health.
Yeah. Functional.
Rice, chicken, veggies.
Right. Yeah.
I'm going to eat this.
Semen.
Whatever. These are the calories for the week. And
big, juicy semen.
That's great. My kid will appreciate listening to that.
Kid shouldn't be listening. This is not.
She goes sometimes when you say stuff. But anyway,
how about this? If you put food up your ass, will you shit out your mouth?
I don't know, that's
age-old question.
That's a hilarious one. But yeah, man. So I get in the crash, right? Motorcycle crash, and I don't know if it's the anesthesia. I think it could have been like near-death experience combined with anesthesia, combined with whatever else they were pumping into me. But I wake up in the hospital after like 2-3 surgeries, and I cannot stop thinking about baking bread from scratch.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
But also I have to build an earthen oven out of clay that I get out of the ground.
Okay.
So I start watching all these tutorials on how to build an earthen oven in your backyard, which is like a cool thing to do.
What, like a kiln, you mean?
Yeah, like building
I want to do that too.
You build this huge sand pile, okay? And you cover it in mud, right? And you let it dry. And then you do like a straw mud insulation layer.
Yep.
I don't know why the straw is involved. I think it's to hold moisture.
It's structural,
and it's a little structural, but I know that it like must burn up at a certain point, right? But anyway, yeah, and then you basically make a mold and cover it, and it's instead of plaster, it's clay. And then when it hardens after a little bit, you put a fire in that sucker after you dig out the sand, right? And it hardens. Fire. It's like a kiln from the inside out, right? So it heats it into like firm clay. I think is waterproof if you do it right.
So were you researching the oven before you would even
this
bake bread?
This is just like I wake up out of the blue and I can't stop thinking about it. And I think it might have been like some sort of bread maker in a past life, male, female, might have been even on another planet.
The bread has to do with this kiln?
Well, what I'm saying is I wake up with this thing inside, this bug, this itch inside me that I want to bake bread from scratch.
That was your flux capacitor.
Yeah,
that's a past life right there.
I guess. I think it's a past life thing coming at me because I never had like a desire or a thought to do it before, and then all of a sudden I couldn't stop thinking about. I was obsessed with learning how to culture yeast, bake bread, build an oven, learn the temps, all the other things, and now I bake a pretty decent bread, but. All of a sudden, when the grocery stores were running dry, people were calling me up because I'd been passing out breads for Christmas and stuff to people, and people were like, when am I going to get one of those cheese breads, man? Yeah. And so you couldn't buy yeast at the grocery store at one point, and people were coming to me and be like, hey, do you have any yeast? And I was like, I do, but it's alive. I was like, you have to keep it alive every day. It's a fucking chore. It's like a starter. If you're not making a bread every 2 days, you're like, you're wasting it. But yeah, so it's like people can't do anything today, and I think like this whole lockdown thing, even though it sucked balls, like the amount of YouTube that was watched and the amount of new skills that were at least like maybe you didn't learn it, but you got interested in it.
It's not enough time though to really get super good at something.
No, but maybe you got interested in it.
It's a start, maybe entry
But even
level,
so, if I had one message, it'd be just to try anything. I don't care if it's cooking, baking, carving, just. What's the worst that can happen?
Nothing,
you make a crappy bread. Like
you can hurt yourself with a power tool.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
Even I learn new skills every week. Like I try to.
Yeah,
I try to soak it up.
to too.
I mean, I think people are there's more trends in this now though.
Yeah,
like people are, there's a movement around it. I
Yeah.
mean, Western Ave alone,
Getting back to Amish living.
and now the makerspace that's in Western
Absolutely,
Ave.
Yep.
What that's a science thing for kids, or what is that?
No, the makerspace. So it's a
3D printing.
they have that. So they have a bunch of different workshops. They have a wood shop. They have a 3D printing shop. They have an electronic shop. They do stuff for cosplay. They have a whole shop for that. So
No shit.
Yeah, so you
Plastics.
I don't know what it costs a month, but you have a membership and you can go and you have access to all this equipment.
And there's places like this across the country.
If I didn't have a
like
fully
invented in Lowell.
All right. First of all, if you're listening to our show, would you got a website?
I have a website, yeah.
Give me it.
That would be www.johnfrancisdesigns.com.
All right. Easy to remember. Phonetically spell it out. You should get it.
Yeah.
www.
And can people like contact you on that and make requests? Or,
They can, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's
And
in
there's-
a position where he doesn't have to take everything.
And there's
right?
a shop, there's what I have available on there as well. And
Yeah.
also
Very cool.
I'm pretty active on Instagram, so
If
Yeah,
you're
great
out there
Instagram.
right now and you're listening to us, and we are officially global because a guy from China emailed me last night and said he'd been waiting so long for this moment. There was a little bit of broken English, whatever he sent. I took a picture and sent it to the boys.
Fair enough, yeah.
He could order something from you. Wouldn't that be a hoot? People from China ordering custom handmade products
Yeah.
from the indigenous people of
Yeah,
the
I've
United
nev- I've
States. Oh man, James
I've never
Chappelle's
shipped it.
right. The world has got a
Yeah.
little flipsy dipsy right now, baby.
I've never
That's
shipped
smaller.
to China. I think I've shipped to New Zealand. That was the furthest.
Oh wow, that's wild.
Do you have like a line of products that you like have
was
listed,
good.
like a certain spoon that you do every time? Like,
Yeah, I have like one kind of cooking spoon that's just
Yeah.
kind of made to order, but otherwise it's
it-
each individual thing. So
and they're all different, slightly different.
yeah,
right?
yeah. The thing I've been into, my new thing, right before the holidays, and I think it tied into the whole lockdown, people trying new things, people making pasta. So I've been making these ravioli molds that leave like a patterned impression on the ravioli.
Yeah.
So those
Oh,
are
very
a big,
cool.
yeah.
They are.
You make them out of wood?
I make them out of wood, yeah.
Do they make them out of silicone?
I suppose you could.
Wood's good. Doesn't
yeah.
stuff doesn't like to stick to it.
Right,
If
and
you
it's
do it right.
and it has naturally antimicrobial
Properties.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
What's the because what? Because what it's made out of?
yeah. Like that's why. So it's one of
Fungus can likes decomposing wood. It's not certain fungus.
No, it does. But
Fungi.
like, so there was this whole I forget what restaurant it was now, but there was some woman that had it was a wooden cutting board that she'd had for like 80 years or something. This long running restaurant, and she was trying to keep that wooden cutting board, and the Board of Health was trying to shut her down, and they did this whole experiment to see, and actually the plastic cutting boards held bacteria more than the wooden one did, and it was like
That makes sense.
I don't know the science behind it, but
So,
I just know that.
Do you see like these?
It's probably a pH thing.
I've been seeing some of these like burl pieces, like of small pieces for like small projects.
Oh, yeah.
They're like $100 sometimes or more.
Yeah.
like with iridescent glow to them when you
Yeah.
like move them. They're pretty
Well,
crazy. Or
es-
dyed.
Especially like when you get into burls and stuff like that. So a burl is basically when you're hiking in the woods or something, you see a tree. It has this huge, it looks like a basketball attached to it. It's like a cancer
Right.
on the tree.
Right.
You have really crazy grain in there.
Herpes.
Yeah.
Hey man,
Exactly.
I don't know. I'm showing you what I just bought myself, and I have this at home because I have all the items in the picture.
Okay.
And I was like, that would fit me just right, and I
right.
needed it.
Yeah.
You should make this. It looks easy. Check it out.
Oh,
So
nice.
you put
All
your
right,
watch,
yeah.
your smartwatch, your phone,
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
piece if you own one, right? You get like a little custom engraving. Mine says "See you in Valhalla." That's my online gamer tag
Yeah,
for
yeah.
anyone who doesn't know that. it's really okay.
It's
Sean-
the second personality.
Sean will
Yeah.
explain it like Superman and Clark Kent. Like
Okay,
like
all right.
like Clark Kent is the disguise.
Okay.
He's really Superman.
Right.
Right. I'm really See You in Valhalla, and my guy that runs around in real life all day trying to like make money to keep the internet working.
Sure.
That's the disguise.
Yeah,
That's
it
how it
switched
goes.
over at some point, and around midnight he turns into Valhalla.
It's a little bit earlier than
and
that.
he lives in a virtual reality.
Yeah.
That's very accurate.
Yeah.
It's very accurate. I spent a lot of time in VR.
Yeah.
It's the only way to go.
Do you read or see Ready Player One?
Loved it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
No?
Oh, it's classic.
Yeah.
It was like there was some stuff in it that was like, no, that's not real because like, come on. But yeah, that was a fucking awesome movie. I liked it because like the whole world had like gaming had taken over the world so we are at one point going to have a podcast soon whenever we get our ducks in a row on wacky shit that has run the global economy at different periods in time.
He wants this one so bad.
I think it's an interesting topic. It's fucking wacky. There's a lot of weird things on there. And in Ready Player One, gaming and internet gaming had all virtual reality was the economy.
Pornography.
Yeah, well, that was laced into it. Yeah. This made pornography.
But you would go to work on virtually, like
I fear. Not that I wouldn't work in. I don't work in films, but like I just fear like the hand, like us just being replaced eventually. Like that's why I think doing stuff with your hands is so important. Like
by
it's like
being replaced
robots
by
and shit, and like 3D printers for me.
Are you talking about the singularity, or are you talking about
I just think
the guy in Michigan losing his riveting job to a fucking?
I just think it's getting that
Japanese.
I just think it's getting more and more automated as time goes on. That's all, and eventually, I mean, maybe not in our lifetime, but eventually, it's going to be so automated that humans don't have to do shit.
Yeah,
I hope they want to, though. I hope they want to.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem
we want to, so. That's a good sign.
When humans don't have to do shit, seems to go not great. There's a short period of time, like when you don't have to do shit. Yeah. You're like, oh, this is great. I can chill out.
Well, that's like why vacation's great, right? But then there's towards the end of that vacation, you're like, it's time to
get productive.
I'm getting a little antsy.
I want to be productive.
Yeah.
But
we live in the easiest time. Easiest time to live in the history of the world.
We don't know that, but we think so.
Well, up to this point.
In our history, according to our history.
I know there's a broad brush, and obviously not everybody's situation is the same, but more than any time in history, your basic needs are met for the most part.
Absolutely.
Like
have you
food, water, shelter.
Yep.
Most people, I know it's
in this country.
Right, in this country. That's what I mean.
Mac,
I know that's kind of a broad brush.
You might know it, but John F. Kennedy gave a speech one time similar to that about how like they thought they were hot shit in the 70s, They're getting ready to go to the moon, or they'd already done it. I don't know. It was the 60s. 60s. Sorry.
60s.
I got crossed.
He died.
Yeah, I know. It was during the 60s, man.
Before the
70s. Kennedy's a big thing in my conspiracy list.
They blew his head off.
But, in broad daylight on TV in the front of the whole world, man.
Yeah.
It was the most public execution I think anyone's ever.
Probably.
Maybe Saddam Hussein might have topped that, but
he was like yelling at them
because of the World Wide Web.
Right.
Yeah, Saddam Hussein was yelling at them when they were like,
"But
fuck you, kill me, fuck you."
Oh Jesus!
In his language, though.
All right. Well,
I've seen a couple decapitations too, and that really is for me even like is very cold. It's horrible to see.
Kennedy,
I'm like, oh God!
Kennedy gave a speech about like mankind being at like the precipice. I mean, assuming we don't have any major things that knock us back, we're always at the spear, the tip of the spear, the peak of the mountain,
upward trend.
Yeah, we're at the peak of our development right now.
Right.
Nope. Now. Right. Yeah. So, I don't know. I that speech did touch me though when I heard it, and I was like, man, this guy is saying all the right things, and they blew his goddamn head off. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well,
they did, not one guy.
Like. I know, but I just feel like I don't know what's going to be the rallying cry, but there has to, maybe this whole shutdown could wipe out. We don't like talking about this stuff, but,
right? Yeah.
It could like shut down the other parts of the world to the degree that like war breaks out there,
right.
And then we have to get involved, and then shit gets worse and worse, and then all of a sudden there's this horrible world war. But there has to be some point where mankind just finally says, like, listen, what are we doing? Look at the things we can do when we get together and band together and fucking, like, we can build a pyramid. We can put GPS on the fucking moon. When we're not busy doing stuff to kill each other, which is important, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But, like, when is it going to be the time for us to just really work together, all the countries of the world?
Right.
Reagan said that the one thing that would probably bring us together is an alien species attacking us. He said that.
Yeah, he's like, I wonder what would happen if an outside threat came down and Something. I remember. I've heard the speech. So I know what you're talking about. But
Well, I think that just goes. That would be the one that did it right there.
He'd probably like to get
No.
beat
Think
on.
about like
it's a guarantee.
how you grow up in your town, your small town or city, and you go, "Oh, my town's great. I hate kids from there." But then you grow up. No, at first it starts at your school, your elementary school, and then
Talking tribalism right
I'm
now.
talking, yeah, and it just grows and grows and grows, and all of a sudden, you're
Gang mentality.
It's like town
nationalism.
versus the neighboring city, and then it's state versus the neighboring state, and then it's country versus country, and then it's world.
You just need that unifying event to
Let's not forget how sick and depraved humans are too. They like to get peed on and
That's
fucking
That's
all sorts of weird shit. Like
That's
they're
also
scat,
true.
and they're all wearing suits and they're scattered all over the
right.
place.
A lot of
Yeah, but
weird stuff.
that's not our fault, man.
No, it's not our fault at all. It's
It
just
just feels what they're doing. What
some people
their
like to-
bodies are telling them to do.
some people like to fuck the dead.
Yeah, that's
Maybe all that stuff's coming from not having to do that much of stuff.
yeah. Well, what I was getting at with
Not
that
out
is
in the
like,
fields growing their plants or
Yeah.
hunting their animals. Or
no, just you look at
so
just
they get into weird
basically
jerking off stuff.
tribal, like people that live in Stone Age type situations, even to this day, or even the Native Americans, just any Native group that's been displaced by progress and culture and society. Like they get, if they're lucky and they don't get killed and wiped out, they get this plot carved out for them where they're given everything. They're like, hey, listen, sorry we took all this land, but we give you this land, and we're going to give you all the stuff you need to live so you don't have to worry about shit. Just sit there and enjoy yourself. But those places always end up becoming a fucking mess.
That's one craftsmanship that I greatly respect is we talked about before, like arrowheads and spearheads.
Oh, yeah.
Like the flint knapping, they got some of these edges, like Clovis culture got some of these edges so precise that they can't even duplicate it with machine tools now. Like,
The animal
unbelievable.
sometimes goes out arrowhead hunting.
Yeah.
He's been panning for gold.
Yeah,
How about that?
I've been gold panning.
How about that?
With the slough.
successfully.
We found probably $30 worth of gold over a weekend.
Do you know that? Do you know that, Macca? He went panning for gold before.
This is like 10 guys.
When it happened, I was like,
combining
get
it.
the fuck
Wait,
out of here. He's like,
you-
yeah, we're going panning for gold. I was like, that's awesome.
You came up with $30 between 10 of you?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so it's not very lucrative.
Gold's
but,
precious.
but it's there.
yeah.
It was like in the river. It was a really cool experience.
Oh, absolutely.
It was for the experience. It wasn't like we were gonna make money. Yeah. You have to like put it through a slough and then get it to a certain like thing, and then you have to do that. And it's really a technique.
All right.
Like using
Did
the
you have a
basket.
guide helping you?
The
Like an
people
old
that ran
prospector?
the place, yeah, I think they helped us a little bit. But some of the guys with me had all the equipment. You know what else they had too? They had magnetic fishing things where you can go on canals and drop a magnet into the water and pull up like old revolvers and knives and shit.
Oh.
That's real cool. I'd like to do it at the little canal.
Oh.
That's fucking cool. You
Like
could
an electromagnetic.
no, it's just a
yanking
strong
shit up.
rare earth magnet that's like big, like it's fucking cool. You pull up like iron filings and stuff out of the river, but like if you do it at like a canal or like the Merrimack River, you could probably find some crazy shit.
Yeah.
We're going to also have a podcast on inventions that changed the world.
Oh, yeah.
And some of them are going to be. So I had one this week, but I've lost it. I'm gonna have to
Okay.
re-remember it.
Sure, yeah.
But when I remember it, I'm gonna be like, "That's it,
That's the
Eureka!"
inspiration. Yeah.
No, but there are some inventions that changed the fucking world, and there's a lot of them, right? Because it's been around a long time. But I'll tell you what, none of that happens without craftsmanship.
That's true.
It all starts there.
That's true.
I have a great love for craftsmen.
Whoa. Go ahead. I got a thought.
I
Go
do,
ahead.
and I just have a great love for craftsmen. I think, I don't know. I just think it's the most fascinating thing, the different stuff people can make these days.
Absolutely.
And it's inspiring. Like it's cool being a part of it, having your little piece.
Well, people that do their own gardening, even just for like a hobby,
Yeah.
they fucking love it
Oh, yeah.
when they've successfully produced some sort of edible thing that they can eat.
So that feeling is something you can only get by creating, like whether it's you're nurturing the vegetables, or you're knitting a scarf or something like that. Sort of self-pride and self-worth.
Have you ever crafted your own alcohol? I feel like you'd be into that.
I have, yeah. I've never.
Animal's brother was.
I brewed beer.
Your brother had the
Romulan
whole
ale.
setup. I remember.
Yeah.
Romulan ale, baby.
We brewed hard cider, and then so the way we were doing it anyways, after you brew it, because it eats up all the sugar, so it's like really bitter. Not like it's just not good. So you have to kind of back sweeten it and add some stuff back in. And the way we were doing it was with the old school frozen juice concentrates, and we were trying like a bunch of different blends to see which one we liked the best. So we had like 15 empty, like half-used frozen concentrates. So we threw those in a bucket.
Sounds like prison
with some yeast in it. That stuff, it came out like 9%. It was like this weird purple color.
Was it good?
It was all right. Like if I knew that in college or high school, man, you could have had a pretty good business going on. For like you buy a little bit of yeast and some.
I don't know.
Right?
We met when I was 13 and you were
like
11?
Yeah.
All right. So I distilled my own booze for the first time. I didn't even want to drink it. I just wanted to see if I could do it.
Yeah.
Oftentimes I've done things.
You distilled it.
Yeah. I made a mash. I made a fucking coil.
Wow.
Oh yeah, the whole setup.
All right.
I was probably like freshman in high school.
All right.
So like 14 or 15. I couldn't even drive yet. I remember having to like scrounge the components, like make up. You know, I tell my parents I needed it for like a science thing for school. So I need this coil, this copper coil, and this like come on. But I could make alcohol if I had to, hard booze.
Sure, yeah.
And that would also be a skill in the future.
It would be.
And in prison.
I mean, moonshiners is an amazing skill.
And in the future, when things fall apart, that would be coming back to currency. That's always currency.
Well, weed is good for currency,
That's true.
but booze is always good for it too. Yeah. And I think booze might be. They both take a long time.
John, what is your most fulfilling project? Like, what is something you've done that you're just like, holy shit? Like, if you have to show somebody your work, that's the piece.
I would say so. I made this. I really get into Art Deco design, so I made this sculptural mirror. That's like my pride and joy. It took me a very long time, and it came out like. I was just very, very happy with the way it came out.
That's cool.
So that's it right there. So it's like one giant mirror and then...
Very stylish. Very cool.
Yeah, so it's like 36 inches across. It's like a big old, like all hand-textured, hand-carved.
Dude, if you Google it, you can find it, but I've seen a photo. I probably sent it to you years ago, probably all of you guys. There's this picture of a bed that somebody made. Mm-hmm. And they're these huge 4 like tree trunk sized posts coming out of the bed, and they're all penises.
All right.
Have you ever seen this thing?
I have not.
I was going to ask if you ever thought of doing a penis.
I'm gonna Google.
I was this
wooden
close
penis
to
bed.
making
So that's
sex
a
toys.
4-poster bed.
Yeah.
It looks like a lot of woodwork. I'm going to show it to you, and you're going to have a real appreciation for the amount of time that must have gone into it. But what I was going to say was, my buddy that does the woodworking, Johnny. You know what else he does? He you don't really I don't know. He produces his own maple syrup.
Oh, all right.
So he's got all these maple trees on his property tapped. Now you got to boil down.
It takes a lot of sap.
I don't know if you're familiar with the process, but it's
a lot. It takes a lot of sap to.
It's a 40-to-1 ratio.
Is it?
So it's 40 gallons of sap to make 1 gallon of syrup. Think about that.
Yo, that's great.
Think of how much sap you got to boil down to produce. That's why maple syrup's so expensive at the store. People don't get it. Like, I had to boil down 40 of these things to make this one thing.
Yeah.
What's the biggest thing you've made? Like,
it was probably that. So there's an ice cream shop in Cambridge, Honeycomb Creamery. So I did their counters and display and everything. So it was just like physically that was like the largest. The largest.
But you make tables and
I've made tables and stuff like that, desks and.
This is it. This is a whole bunch of penis furniture I didn't even know about. Look at this. Look at this. If anyone's listening to this, you Google wooden penis bed. And look up images.
Penis art is a field.
Listen.
That's intimidating.
My family went to Greece. My family went to Greece pre-COVID.
Lord.
And they took all these pictures of them under these monuments that were like bigger than, my dad's a pretty big guy. They had statues twice the size of my dad carved out of stone. They were just big dicks.
Wow.
All over Greece.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's pretty serious.
That's pretty. Yeah, that's
because this isn't like somebody's like you're not living in like some weirdo that's in the backyard of his house that he's got this huge cock made out of marble that he hired Dan to make and took Dan 3 years. Like this is a society that put these up around town.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like my ancestors.
Yeah.
Presumably,
but
did you see that cock bed though?
Yeah, the Greeks love the penis.
What kind of workload is that?
That's
like
that's definitely.
That would take years.
Oh, look at World Erotic Art Museum.
That's someone's
South
life's
Beach.
work.
Yeah.
South Beach is what, Miami? Yeah. This is in Miami, apparently. You can see this.
Wow.
Holy
Georgia
shit.
O'Keeffe,
The
vagina paintings.
But there's all these other ones, too. The chairs and the fucking... the pillow. The pillow's a creative one, but that's not, Look at this chair. It looks, it's a penis and balls. Yeah. But it's a full-size chair. I mean,
yeah.
They must have carved that out of, like, a whole solid tree or something.
Looks like it, yeah.
John, is it is it like
the veins.
Is it like a faux pas to like paint wood after you only stain?
Like I don't use a lot of stain. I've kind of started dabbling paint a little bit, but it's kind of, I think whatever your style is, like whatever you're into, as long as you're making something.
Sure.
Yeah.
What are you saying? What do you finish the wood
I just
with?
didn't know if there were like certain.
So
rules.
I finish it just oil, wax.
Oil.
Yeah, oil and wax.
So you're counting on the wood itself, the quality of the wood.
Exactly. But to circle back to when you asked like what I was most proud of or something, the other thing would be, so teaching those classes, I had a lot of, I had one woman that came, she was a Japanese immigrant, and her grandfather was a woodworker, and in Japan, she said,
They take things serious.
You were not, but as a woman, she was not allowed to even touch the tools. And she was always looking for...
That's half
like,
the artists in your population all of a sudden no longer get the opportunity.
She was like brought to... So she carved a spoon. She actually came back to like 4 more classes, but she was brought to tears at the end of the class because like it's something that she'd wanted to do her entire life. And I had a few other... like retirement age women that the same thing, it like reminded them of their grandfather, something they always wanted to do, and that's not, woman's work or whatever, like the workshop, wood shop.
Is Japan considered a male-dominated society still, you think?
That I don't know. That's
the women's lib movement in this country happened in the 60s, but really probably
if you're having a tough time,
probably the 20s.
If you're having a tough time in Japan, you just take a header. They do that all the time.
What, jump off of a fucking skyscraper?
Things go bad, you build a pile
Suicide is high in Japan, but I think it's because it's more culturally accepted.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
when I wake up in the morning, like my life is really good. Love my career, my kids, my wife. Everything's going great.
Yeah.
But I hate waking up so much that I want to kill myself every morning, and every day is worse than the other one.
Yeah,
I hate
that's called the human condition.
Like, that's
called life.
I just want to take a ball pin hammer and just hit myself in the head until I just go down.
That's like your preferred method. That's what you.
Because of like I get to contemplate it. Like, this is the first hit, and then the second one I'm dead.
All right.
I can't watch the episode of Walking Dead when Negan kills Glenn with the bat. It's too much.
Oh yeah,
it's too much. I saw it the first time and it was just too much.
I
can handle gore, but
I made a Lucille bat. Actually, I have a wood bat, and I actually made the barbed wire for it. I thought if I made barbed wire, that it wouldn't have to use real stuff and hurt people, and it ended up making real barbed wire anyways. So when you take wire and twist it, it ends up being real barbed wire.
There you go.
I tried to dull the ends, but no.
So I know a lot of people that are getting into, and I think it started happening before the lockdown, but lockdown has brought us up higher to just do these like projects at home.
Right.
DIY. It's been a big thing for a while because of YouTube, internet.
So I know a lot of people that are like doing things that they haven't explored entrepreneurship yet. Right. So like my question for you is, from the time you were like, I'm doing this, right, to like how long did it take to get to a point where you were like, all right, I got something?
When did you get traction? Is what it's asking.
I would say where I have my wood shop, it's a repurposed mill building. There's 240 artist studios in there. So before the lockdown, the first Saturday of the month, they would have open studios. So the public would come in, see what you're working on. You had the opportunity to sell them your stuff. So when I got the shop there, I had no intention of selling anything. I just wanted to make stuff. And then it got to a point where I'm like, well, making all the stuff, I need to do something with it. So I had that opportunity to sell through there. But I think that most people are ready to sell before they think they are.
I was just going to say that. People aren't ready, and they start selling stuff, and it's like even tattooers start tattooing at home on people before they're even ready.
Yeah,
you got to learn.
No, but you shouldn't be. You should just sit on it and not sell anything yet, and just work it.
I was saying the other way. I think that you should get out there and try selling. You know, there's a market for everything, and I think that.
You know what?
You think so?
Well, I mean, I'm talking about like the stuff I make. Or I'm talking
Okay,
about
okay.
if you're knitting scarves or something like that. I'm not talking, and maybe you're not the best, but there'll still be a price point and a market for that. And when you're exposed to the public, they'll point out what's wrong with it. I guarantee you they'll tell you what's wrong with it.
I'm thinking of stuff that comes with a great responsibility, maybe on my end, like restorations I do for like churches and like museums and stuff. Like
or just stuff that you can't you can't buy again.
Well, there was that.
Can't remake like a 1932 car. You know, it's like it's done.
You can't say like I'll take your money and I'll restore it for you, and then later on you bring it back. And it's like fucked.
Yeah, you need to know your limitations.
But if it's selling a product, I guess
it was. You probably know what it was. It was maybe a month ago. There was some restoration on I think maybe it was in France or something. It was on a statue on a building that went like horrifically wrong.
Yeah. I don't remember.
It was like all over the news because it was. It's exactly what
my boss sent me a link actually to that. But it's a great responsibility because if I fuck up, but I know I've earned the right to work on stuff like that. I know which materials and everything and like what clean up and everything, and
you know when to hold them and when to fold them.
Yeah. I think what he means is selling like art or projects, and I guess if it's harmless, then go for it.
Yeah, like I'm guessing you're talking about like people are making like cornhole boards and stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. Throw it on Facebook. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a 6-inch hole saw and a couple of screws.
Yeah.
As far as I can tell.
Well,
Maybe
people get pretty creative with the graphics and stuff on those things.
I don't know when this is going to become a reality.
All right.
But someday, the house that I die in or retire in, or, whatever, however you want to put it, like my home that I grow old in,
right,
or whatever. I want it to be an exact replica of Bag End, Bilbo Baggins' house from the Shire.
Right, yeah,
you're too tall.
So I'll need a lot of wood crafting, a lot of stonework. I'm not too tall. I'll make it fucking scale.
I want to live in a gothic castle like Dracula with like torches in the hallways. And
I feel like mine's more obtainable, but
your former living space 600 years ago in Russia.
Yeah,
Black Forest.
I moved on from that.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't. It's too many people and cameras to be a vampire these days.
That's true.
Oh, right.
What is going on right now in the world with podcasts? Like, we have one because me and this dude went to college together, and, we used to tell people, mostly me, would tell people
we had a radio show.
That we had a radio
show. We went to college together too, Chris.
I know that. You're Dan, you're my neighbor. Come on.
I hate that.
He feels like it's like
it is.
Any of these assholes can be your neighbor.
We're not even neighbors anymore.
And I agree. Listen, you're my co-host on my podcast. What's better than that?
I get it.
Come on.
I'm fine. I'm not offended at all.
Any of my other neighbors here right now?
I think I still have the T-shirt. Chicks Dig It Radio.
Yeah. Okay. So
is that what the name of the show was?
That's what the name was.
That's what I wanted the show to be called. Chicks Dig It. Yeah. I thought it was fire. But yeah, like podcasts are huge right now because we're producing this one, right? And it's where I'm going with this is because it's not a craft like with our hands,
right?
But we're going through a learning process, and we're making mistakes.
You're creating something, right?
Yeah. So we're creating some kind of like
whether it's music, that's what they call musicians, artists.
Apparently, it's not called a talk show anymore, John.
Right?
It is not called a talk show.
Well, I like it. I think it's a talk show. But anyway, one of the cool things about going through this process of learning the new thing.
Donahue over here.
That's who I get. That's the guy I get. Any talk show host.
Carson
I can be Arsenio
Bailey.
Hall or like Conan O'Brien. I get fucking Phil whoever.
Montel Williams.
Awful.
Yeah, Montel.
Awful.
Maury Povich.
Sally Jesse Raphael.
Who's the best talk show host of all time? Is it Conan O'Brien?
Well, I don't. I guess he's talk show.
It's a different type.
He's nighttime.
Late night show.
Late night show.
Yeah, but
people would say Johnny Carson. Obviously,
fuck that guy, dude. Johnny Carson probably told some moderately humorous jokes that were written for him.
Some weird and wild stuff.
In a time when like people, I don't know. I felt like they laughed at stupid shit.
It sucked then.
If you put him on right now, people would be like, buddy, get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Conan O'Brien, when you watch him, you're like, this guy has got magic. He is magic. You know what I mean?
Well, it depends because he didn't work as the late night host for channel, what is it?
Who's this?
NBC or...
Who are we talking about?
Tonight Show and then the late night show. And
I feel like it could be a talk show
Conan
host.
didn't work. Conan didn't work in it. And then he went over to TBS and he does his own show, which is still Conan. But
All I'm saying is,
because like do
you think he's?
We
the best?
have a brain that works in a different way, and we laugh at Conan. But like mainstream America likes
Barbara Walters,
Jay Leno.
Right.
Oh, Jay Leno.
But there's also, so are you talking entertainment value, or are you talking like as far as like getting things out of people? You know, there's like a
like Barbara Walters used to make everybody cry. I think Joe Rogan's the new guy that like he makes people come on there and say things that they to the whole world that they would never do.
Have you ever seen? It's not a
who's the old guy? Larry
not
King?
A talk show, but on YouTube, Hot Ones. It's a
Yes.
Sounds like a porn website.
No, so it's a talk show. Like it's a one-on-one interview, but they're eating 10 progressively hotter chicken wings.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So they use that as like a.
Oh, I've seen that.
Well, it kind of like
that.
That's hilarious.
Well, it's funny and it kind of breaks people down a little
I'd
bit.
make it
you know
to
what
like
I mean?
3.
But the guy, almost everybody that's on the show,
Because you're off guard because you're just so like
that and whoever, they always say, I don't know where you got these questions, but it's one of the best interviews they've ever had. Like he's really, really good at like these deep dive kind of questions that gets people to open up, and
it's hard to ask.
Here's the thing. I think every human, maybe not do an art or an artisan project or like music or something, but everybody should have some project for mental like
Some way
stability.
to express yourself.
Some way to have a project, something you're working on.
It doesn't have to be art.
Doesn't have to be art.
Can it be beekeeping?
Anything.
even
I want to get into beekeeping.
even like get in the kitchen and cook. You know what I mean? Like really cook.
Yeah.
Yeah, really cook, right?
Yeah.
Right. Like reductions and shit, and like that's all I know.
I'm gonna have a hard time with it, but at some point I'd like to keep rabbits for the purposes of eating them,
All right.
and I'm gonna have a tough time with
That
the
is out
slaughtering.
of nowhere. Right
Yeah.
there.
Well,
I've
listen.
never heard you say that ever.
Well,
Where did this come from?
where'd that come from?
Yeah.
Well, let's see.
Put it in a stew.
John,
I have big news, by the way. Next time?
taters, precious? Johnny texted me, said, "Hey, I've been listening to this podcast. I'd like to come on and talk about how nobody can do anything for themselves anymore. We're talking about gardening and process of that, right? You're reaping your rewards of your labor and your hard work.
Yeah.
Agriculture, part of that is keeping livestock. That is a whole, it's a culture of itself, right? Like a horticulture.
Do you remember? Yeah.
So, like, you got to learn how to keep bees. You got to learn how to keep chickens. I'm sure you could just get some chickens, and some of them would live. But there's an optimal way to do it.
Sure.
Do you remember we talked about the goats with Liam?
Yeah,
About the fingers of the butt?
exactly.
That he texted me and said that was not true at all. His friend was fucking with him.
Oh, I was thinking, after
So that wasn't even true.
After the fact, I was thinking to myself, I was like, it doesn't even make any sense. I was like, I happen to know, like, almost, like, every mammal,
Like, why would they be born with a membrane?
I think just
to
about...
give you a little background.
This isn't aired yet. I don't
did a little
know if
pilot.
we'll air it.
Yeah, we did a pilot run interview, and our guest told us that when baby goats are born, they're called kids, and you have to poke their asshole with your finger.
So there's a membrane.
There's a membrane over
Right.
it.
Sure. And that
We
Right.
were like, what the fuck?
to break their ass hymen.
I mean,
break their ass.
that might not be a real thing.
Ass hymen. Ass
Bingo.
hymen. Yeah, ass hymen's a good name for a band.
We need a drum roll sound effect
Need sound
because
effects.
we have them. We have access to them.
Right.
Fun fact, which also might not be a real thing. I could be wrong on this, but with the rabbits, do you know that it's called rabbit starvation? Like
I was
if
just
you,
gonna say, yeah.
if you only ate rabbits, they don't possess all of the amino acids to keep you alive.
Well,
the fats, right?
It's fats.
Or is it fats?
Well, fats is
Moose.
amino acids. No, wait, no. The triglycerides or something.
No, I'll tell you right now. Okay,
You can eat
because
the bones. That kind of helps, but
Yeah, I watch a lot of survival.
You're right.
Survival programs.
Yeah.
Okay, that was like when my kid was young, right? When she was like old enough to like be interested in it. We used to go out in the woods and take bark and strip it and turn and weave it into twine.
Okay.
We used to do all kinds of bushcraft shit,
Sure, yeah.
right? And I used to teach her like friction fires and how it worked, and this is how you start a fire in the woods if you ever have to. You should always teach your children how to start fires in the woods. That's a great idea.
Absolutely.
It's actually a very good skill to learn for survival, but apparently children are irresponsible with fire, so who knows?
Right.
Whoa.
Anywho, I used to study a lot of bushcraft, and I watch a lot of survivor shows, and I think Alone is one of my favorites. Have you seen it?
I have not seen that, no.
So that you got Naked and Afraid is a great one.
Okay.
I love Naked and Afraid. You remember I was when I got my leg injury, I was watching that. You guys would come over and you thought I'd be fucked up for life, and you walked out of my house like, oh my god, he's all fucked up. He's ruined for life. You didn't know I'd be doing Taekwondo in like a year, but it was like 2 years.
Well, at that moment, I mean,
I had the floppy thing. It was yeah. Well, I was also heavily on whatever pain meds they were giving me. I was doped up. I had to do like a weirdo walk to flip up my foot because my muscle had been fucked up. But I'm okay now. Everybody.
And you would fall.
Yeah, I'd fall all the time. That lasted for a while.
Sometimes shit happens
because of droopy foot.
Yeah.
But Alone, getting back to the survival thing, they dump these these people out in the wilderness by themselves. Yeah. And they're allowed as much. Basically, the premise of the show is they're allowed to bring 10 things, and they've got to film by themselves, and the camera equipment itself is heavy, and they got to lug that around. But it's super harsh environmental conditions.
Sure,
okay,
yeah.
so these people are out there literally starving themselves to death. Yeah. They get pulled. Most of them get pulled if they don't tap out from injury. Mm-hmm. They tap out from psychological, just losing their shit out there, missing their family, just not having food, just living in the woods basically, and being isolation. Isolation takes them out a lot. They just can't be alone. But it's $500,000 for whoever lasts the longest. Ooh. So the first show that the season was 45 days. And then it's like people were like, "Oh, I see what's going on."
Now,
here.
are they like in the woods in Canada?
Hard places to live.
Okay.
By any circumstances.
Mostly not cold places, all right?
No, cold. They did Antarctica or some cold. They didn't do Antarctica, but they did. They do a lot of Alaska and northern Canada type places. But where I was going with that and the fats thing is that this dude hunted a moose, which is like. On these shows, they usually trap or get some small game and hunt and gather, usually some fishing. Very seldom does somebody take down big game. Right. And then when they do, they've got hundreds of pounds of meat to sustain them. So this dude was like a shoo-in. He takes out the moose. Yeah. Moose has almost no fat in it. Mm-hmm. So this dude was eating tons and tons of calories a day of protein. Right. But it was making him sick because he had no fats.
Oh, yeah.
He
was only getting he was getting some kind of ketosis, right?
Oh, right.
Angiogenesis.
Yeah, all kinds of weird shit was going on. He was getting kidney stones. He was losing body weight, muscle and fat fast. And he was just down in moose.
Yeah.
And the poor bastard he knew that moose was low on fat, and he had rendered all the fat out of it to portion it out. He was going to scoop a thing of moose fat out. And these fucking wolverines got it and stole it.
No.
And it's dramatic.
They steal shit from bears, too.
Dude, he built a 12-foot tower to hide his fat in so that they wouldn't get it. And the next day it came out and the thing looked like literally had been claw marked by Wolverine from X-Men, and they got the fucking fat out of it. But rabbit fat is just one thing.
With Craftsmanship, you mentioning Alaska, there's a documentary I remember seeing when I was a kid on PBS called Alone in the Wilderness. This guy named Dick Pernicki. He wrote a book, too.
Dick Pernicki.
He was up there, and I don't know how many years he lived up there, but it was the same thing. He had a camera, and he was kind of pioneered that, where he'd set up the camera and work all day. He was the guy. But he built a cabin, hunted for his food, he had like a tin bending day, and he made all his own tin storage things for all of his dry goods and stuff. And there was a plane that would come every 6 months. That was it. And he lived up there for years and years and years.
I'm in a conundrum because I have a deep primal call to live in the wild like that. It interests me and appeals to me.
But to see you in Valhalla would fall to the wayside.
That's the crux. I'd have to let go of the video gaming. I just don't think I could do it.
Maybe you could do they have this thing, I think, in Western Massachusetts. It's like a hermitage. Go out there for a week, 2 weeks.
Just get right with yourself.
Yeah. And
I spend plenty of time.
Stay in a non-electronic. You'd have to
no way
walk away from CU and Valhalla for
I like the material world.
No way. I don't know what the long or short term effects of that would be on me, but none of them would be good.
No.
Not in my book. No way.
There's no scraps.
I'm getting squirmy right now.
I want to. I go back to a point Dan D made earlier about people doing something. Like having a project, I think it's really important because a lot of people's work is never ending, and so
or it's work and they don't like it.
That could be also they're just doing
it. It is.
But like the work that I do is system work, so it never stops. It's like, or it's like 10 years out, changes. You'll see changes.
Right.
Imagine working in telecom.
Well, exactly.
Every 5 years, it's a new thing,
or it's new, but like there's no start and end date.
I think
that's really important.
I think everybody should do what they love too. Like, and that can't be overstated enough. Like, imagine being able to go into work and work on projects that you would work on at home on your even without that job. Like, that's what I get to do. It's fucking cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
It depends on what you're doing, though.
But it depends on what you're doing, yeah.
Because I played poker one time for like a year.
Yeah.
Didn't work. Because I loved cards and like poker was on TV and I was like, oh, I'm cool.
There's something romantic about it too.
But like after, there is very romantic.
Heroin too.
Well, like Doc Holliday is probably my favorite character from any.
I like Rounders.
Any fucking Rounders is cool, but Doc Holliday is probably my favorite character from any Western movie ever. And he was like a poker player, and he didn't give a flying fuck. He was a dead man walking, and he loved it. I don't know if he loved it, but he knew it. And he embraced it, but at least that's how they depict him in the movie. So I applaud that. But
Wyatt, I'm rolling.
Oh yeah, Wyatt, I am rolling.
It's fun to
Wyatt
have a
Earp
project.
is my friend.
You can see the end of the project. Like I can see. Like I have one project at home that I'm working on for 3 years, and like I only work on it here and there. But like I can see what I want it to look like at the end.
Right.
Yeah, you see it in your head at the beginning, and you make it. That's imagination.
I know what
It's
I want it to look
therapeutic.
like.
It is,
and like it's all about finding the way. Like it's almost like a map. It's different ways to get there, but you know how to get. Once you know how to get there, it's fun.
What I was saying about the poker thing was that it became stressful and unfun.
Oh right. Yeah.
And I often think professional athletes might feel I have a theory on jobs in general.
Okay.
Right? And you're a good example of this.
All right.
Even though I feel like you have very good job security at the pasta company. Yeah. The thing about a job is that if you only got the one, it's so everything, all the load is on this one thing.
Right.
And if you don't like that job, you got to go like endure this thing that you don't like every day. Right. And you got to go do that because you have to pay the bills. You got to survive. That's life, right? I feel like, and we talked about this before, and I don't remember if we aired it, but it was when I flipped out and told all human resources people to just go fuck themselves. But
read all your human resources.
Oh, that was the Liam. That was the Liam interview because he was talking about how he was fired from Rent a Car Place or the asked to leave. That's what they used to call firing people. You were asked to leave.
That will be a bonus episode.
Yeah, we'll put that out there when people are actually listening. But I feel like the best model, and that's what I try to tell my kid, and that's what I try to tell other people too, and you don't even need to go to college to do this model, right? I feel like you should have like 3 part-time gigs. You should work full-time.
Okay.
50 hours a week, maybe 60. Bust ass, go out and work, right? Make that paper. But don't put all your eggs in one basket. Spread it around, right? Have like a bartending job.
When you're young, you mean?
No, I mean for life, dude. Like I know people that are like, 40, 50, whatever. You go to a bar sometimes, there's that one bartender that's just been there forever. They like that job. It brings in cash. Shit, Mac, you worked at that bar forever, dude. We thought you guys were never going to quit. I mean, you worked there a decade longer than we thought, right?
It's really hard. Some people, it's really hard to do a second job like that.
Well, you get 3 of them, right? So you get like, you manage
or 3.
it.
Yeah.
And if one doesn't work out, for whatever reason, either you get fired or it becomes obsolete or you get for whatever reason, it just you don't like it, you hate the person, you want to say fuck it, and now you're not so stressed about it anymore. You can be like, you know what, man, fuck this, I'm out, and then you can just pick up the slack at the other 2 jobs until you find a third one to fill the gap. And I'm not saying it's like 100% the it's not like the end all be all of doing things, but I think it's a better model than like putting yourself $200,000 in debt and student loans when you're 18.
Yeah, well, there's probably like a middle ground between working 3 jobs and like going that far into debt.
Maybe get a job you like.
Yeah,
but have something else that I don't know.
I was pushed into college basically.
Everybody
like,
was.
You have to go to. Why can't you just take a couple years off to figure it out? Like after high school,
dude.
You're so young.
Our high school, we went to private high school, so we had the
pressure,
way higher expectation to go to college, and let's say like
college.
other, let's say like Nashua High, right? They had like 1,000 kids there. I don't know how many went to college. I don't know what the percentage was, but it wasn't what ours was. Ours was like 98%, right?
Yeah.
But it was like part of our graduation ceremony.
Right, what college you're going to.
Hey, this person graduated. Next year, they're off their way. They're
Right.
on their way
MIT.
they're on their way to success, everybody,
Right.
and their life's going to be great. They're
Right.
going to Boston University.
Yeah.
They're going to cocksucking university.
They're going to Hawaii to surf and be awesome. And then that one kid would be like undecided. And like it was
And it'd be
it was
like,
like a shameful thing to be undecided, you know?
Yeah, Jennifer's going to get the clap at Samson College.
Yeah, but like if you didn't have like your future planned out right by the time you got out of high school, like everyone there was like, oh, this person's going to be a bum.
Loser.
When the reality is that person might have been like, hey man, I'm out. I'm going to backpack in Europe for a year,
Right,
and they're
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
like grow up like 10 years in one.
Absolutely.
and
Like,
come
what's
back.
the rush? Like, I didn't like make my career till I was in my 30s. Like,
No,
and
for sure.
I did it through all my 20s without any reward besides like here and there. Like, besides the act of doing it.
Right.
Of
Yeah.
course, I loved it, but.
Well, you had a couple.
did you
years
go to
there where
BG?
were off, out of your mind.
Oh yeah, I was on drugs a couple of years. So.
There's a few years in your early 20s where you're gone. So
Yeah, 22 to
I mean, who
25.
isn't? Who isn't? Right?
Yeah, I had a good time.
I'm still having a great time.
I burnt the candle at both ends, and it just.
I think I might light up another joint right now. I don't know. I've already had a couple. It's tough to say. Oop, there goes the mic. Gotta be careful. So
can I ask
go
a
ahead.
question,
Go ahead, man.
John?
Yeah.
So I, as with all my hobbies, I'm also into men's long hair. I run a group with 5,000 members.
Yeah.
I was very excited to see
Yeah.
you walk in with your hair growth for a year.
Yeah.
Why did you decide to grow your hair? Was it COVID?
Well, so before this, I had a standing appointment every other Tuesday at 4 o'clock. I got my hair cut for years. Like it
Yeah.
was just, I was very,
High and tight.
yes.
Keep it.
So then COVID rolled through. I'm like, I'm going to let it go a little bit. And then I'm like, well, I'm going to let it go. I might as well just let it go. And so no scissors have touched my hair in like 51 weeks.
It's in now.
Yeah.
It's in
51
now.
weeks.
We
Have
see
you?
so many.
I'm going to get a little birthday cake.
Do you know? Have you? Let me ask you.
Yeah.
Because you're a little different. You've had a beard. Mac has had a beard forever.
Yes.
Mac has had long hair before too.
Been long hair before.
You've had long hair before.
Shoulder length, right?
Shoulder
Around
length.
How long ago was that, though?
15 years ago.
Yeah, I'd say I had some long hair in my early 30s, but
Really?
yeah,
Really?
but not shoulder length.
All right.
that was 20s.
The question is,
late 20s though.
I shaved my head, but I'm obviously bald, right? So I don't know what this is about, but I did grow like what was considered to be a serious beard, right?
Yes.
I put some beads and things in it from Iceland, some Viking stuff.
Yeah.
And go out in public. Who do I have to impress? I don't care, right? People would look at me differently.
Yeah.
I was at a bar one night. A dude that knew me my whole life was like an older guy, saw me and was like not making eye contact because he thought I was like this badass motherfucker. I am, but he thought I was like this dude that was going to kill him, even though I'm nice. I would never do that. Karate for defense only. Rule number 1, Miyagi-Do. Karate for defense only. Am I right? Am I right on that?
You are correct.
Yeah.
Rule number 2.
First, learn rule number 1.
You got it, baby. I knew you would have it. So people look at you differently when you've got long, mangy hair.
Right.
And you get treated differently as a result of your looks. And this group that Danimal's hooked in with on the internet, the long hairs,
It's very supportive. Yeah, it's
Right.
called Serious Hair Guys.
they got into this
And-
because of that.
We,
Like,
we talk about
the
discrimination.
the
against men-
stigma.
this
Yeah.
discrimination against men with long hair. There's a history of like cultures and like long hair being important, like it's connected to your spirit.
Samson.
Basically, like and like it was a symbol of like vitality and health for a man back in the old days, having long, beautiful hair.
I would have been
And
fucked.
we have the same hair. We have the same hair women have. Like, if anything, we keep it a little more natural. And we just support guys because like there's a lot of guys who like gain a lot of confidence growing their hair out.
Have you noticed being like when you're out in public that people look at you
So
differently?
I haven't, but I also, it's not like,
You haven't gone on any job interviews recently.
no, part of that might just be my exposure's been limited due to the lockdown. What I did notice, though, is back in my early 20s, I used to shave my head. And when I grew my hair back, I realized how differently people treated me when I had a shaved head.
Does the wife love it?
Yeah, she doesn't care either.
Oh,
My wife doesn't care either.
You feel like people treated you differently when you had a shaved head?
I
like
did.
They thought you were more of a badass?
I think, I don't know, I maybe part of it was like an age thing.
We were pretty jacked in those days.
Yeah, I was
dude.
like,
we were
you know,
lifting a lot of weights.
Like fairly muscular, I guess, at the time. Shaved head. Like, I think it just kind of
Still got
had, like,
it.
a thuggish look.
What
know,
are you,
like
38?
38, yeah.
Yeah, you still got it, buddy.
You look great.
Thanks, man.
Your hair looks awesome. Really good.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot.
I don't know who has the best hair in the world that I know, but I think it might be Mark.
He's got good.
Or his
he's got a
brother.
good head.
Yeah.
Good head of hair.
I think it's
But yours is pretty. Yours is good.
I have a full head of hair too, asshole.
Yeah, but you always bandana her up.
Danimal.
Oh no, I have hair.
You-
My hairline's fine.
I know you know him, but I don't think you've ever really taken a look at his hair.
Brad Pitt, Legends of the Fall.
Oh.
Tristan.
That's a huge inspiration for guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Now a lot of guys say Jason Momoa and stuff, but he has. You know what too is you never know your true hair type until you start growing it long. Like
So-
I didn't know I had curly hair until I grew it long.
Me either. So I
Yeah.
always thought I had wavy hair because I grew it like 8. I let it go for like 8 months. I don't know, 10 years ago. But then
Yeah.
a friend's wedding, they asked me to cut it, so I cut my hair. So I thought it was wavy. My hair's like curly.
Curly,
Like,
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Like mine's curly too.
yeah.
We got some interesting stuff coming up to talk about on the show. I want you to know. So,
All right,
because
yeah.
you're a fan.
Yeah, we might
technically-
have to bring you back on for a hair and a hair podcast.
Hair pal.
Well,
I
people
can talk about hair like crazy.
people have been sending us information and saying, "Hey, check this out. You've got to put this on your show." So
Sure,
it's
yeah.
another fun thing about the podcast,
Yeah, that's
right?
great.
So me and Dan got something. I haven't read into it too much yet, but there's some sort of like retiree.
Oh, that conspiracy thing.
No. Remember you sent us this article? I saved it so I
I
could
didn't
look
read
at
it.
it.
I skimmed it maybe, but
It hasn't been the Fantasyland I thought it would be. Documentary goes in creepy Florida utopia for senior citizens.
Oh, yeah.
That it claims has sinister underbelly of racism, orgies, drunken
That's-
debauchery, and
we should
make-believe
totally talk
history.
about that.
That's the
So,
villages.
yeah,
the villages, right?
I don't know. I got to look into it. But
Mike said-
No, I mean I read that article.
my brother sent us the.
I think I sent that to Mike.
And the Moon Man,
I
yeah.
saw
So maybe
something
you
about
did
that, too.
And then the Moon Man sent me something about. We were talking about 3D. We were talking about organs, 3D printing, because Dan's got a bad heart condition, and I was and we had my buddy Jimmy's like a really really smart nurse. He's basically a doctor. He's been to school for so many years. But yeah, Noonan sent me a thing on people that they're making some fake organs right now. I have to read it, but
I don't want the first model.
yeah, no, you never buy. Like I never buy the first.
What do you go, round 2,
Army
3?
sets out to manufacture human organs.
Yeah, like maybe.
Round 3.
Advanced regenerative
My heart's doing good
Manufacturing
right now, so I don't
Institute.
need it anyways.
Yeah, these people are making organs, man.
If you're looking for podcast ideas, one thing I'd be very interested in is your method to a playlist. I know you said you can make.
Ooh.
I know you said you can make a playlist for any mood. I want to
I don't
know
know
if
if
there's
that's. I don't know if that's public information.
Is there a method?
That
Method
might
to the
not be.
No. Oh,
Let me think on
All
it.
right. Is it?
That's like
does it-
There is
asking-
methods. There is a
there-
method.
all right.
That's like asking him how he keeps his hands so smooth. I'll
Fair
never
enough.
tell you. He's got some sort
That's
of
fair, that's
concoction
fair,
he
yeah.
makes.
It's
I respect that.
Recipes, certain
respect-
recipes.
Like
Yeah.
one part beeswax, like one part whale oil, like
Sure, yeah.
Like you said, it was a family
avocado,
recipe.
smooth, one part blended avocado. Like he knows he's
They
got.
have, they have hair masks like that where you put avocado and shit and banana. Kind of.
I'm sorry, I'm high. What was your idea for the show, John?
Oh,
I'm trying to keep it real for the audience.
Curations.
Yeah.
Musical curations.
musical
Ah,
creation.
That's
right.
my art.
That's
That's
right.
my art
I skipped over it. That's right. Sorry, short-term memory was fried from
Yeah, that's cool.
two jibs.
I'll make a dope playlist for when we die in the apocalypse.
When we,
Oh,
I don't die in the apocalypse. Well,
At some point you do.
We have a
I
rock
do.
star coming in soon, and I'm going to have him call in.
we have.
He's a lead singer of a metal band called Sixth Gear.
I
They're
don't.
badass.
I don't know.
We'll play a clip.
We haven't aired the episode where I talk about it. Well, you'll hear it probably this week. But I met a dominatrix at the gym
yeah.
who's 21.
You introduced that a couple.
I think we're on the 3rd episode that he's talked about.
Okay.
So he's very excited.
All right. Yeah.
So, well, I think she's coming next week.
All right.
Can we have her do some stuff like
I don't think it's a choice.
like to us? I mean,
She's very forward.
like get on the ground, Dan.
Is that her full time profession?
No, man, I met her at the gym. She works in my gym, and she was
Okay, she works.
taking shots
I'm
across
sure
the
you
bow
could
with
make
me.
a full time gig out of it though.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you definitely can.
You know what's fucked up? Okay. we were talking about this a little bit last week.
Okay.
This year, online dating went nuts.
Right.
Okay. No one could go out. So they're like, after a certain point, people were getting horny. They're getting lonely.
Yeah.
Whatever it is that makes you want to find somebody of whatever you're into, opposite sex, same sex, both at the same time, whatever floats your boat, right?
We call that a special.
A special, sure. Yeah. So my buddy is talking to me the other day about this website that he's on, and we're trimming, and he's like, I met this girl. And then this girl at the gym that I met also does this. But there's all these girls on the internet, and they're on these dating profiles, but they don't really want to meet you. They just want you to go to their special site where they'll take in
OnlyFans.
No, this was a different thing than
Where
that.
do they do the site?
So this girl texted my buddy, and he showed it to me, and I was like, hot diggity dog, these people are sick. A couple of real sick puppies is what my mother would say about society, okay? Because this is a real thing. This is a big thing going on right now, okay? Like, you got people that are home making money any way they can. So there's all these guys and girls trying to stream video gaming, stream this, stream that. All these girls now are doing live request sex stuff on camera for you. So you can.
Yeah, I knew about that.
So she showed him a menu. It looked like a menu of a restaurant. Mm-hmm. And there were all these priced items like
beads up your ass.
No, she'll do stuff on camera for if you subscribe, you'll get a certain amount of exclusive content sent to you every month, no matter what. Okay. You can sign up for a package that's it varies in price, but it goes up to $500-$600 for a session with her for 15 minutes, and she'll get online with you, and she'll get naked and start doing all kinds of stuff, and she'll talk you through your process. Basically, you're having web sex with these people.
Yeah, this is OnlyFans.
Yeah, but it's a different company too, so I'm saying there's many of these. Well, they're making money doing it, dude. That's what I'm saying. They're recruiting dudes on the internet, young girls. They're 25, 26, and they're using the dating sites to pull in dudes or girls, whoever's interested in them, to they'll say, hey, add me on Snap, and then they send you a snap of their website link or their menu, and you can sign up, and these girls will milk their boobies into a cup, or they'll play they'll put a dildo and rub it with their feet for 20 minutes while you beat it and watch them. Sick shit, whatever people are into. But apparently so this girl I met at the gym, she's texting me this week, she's working, and I'm like, oh, you're at the gym? She's like, no, I'm working in Boston. I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, just sitting in a chair, exactly like a fancy leather comfortable chair, and there's a dude in leather and handcuffs curled up in the ground in a fetal position, and she's just using him as a footstool for 20 minutes. Yeah. And this person is paying her to do that.
Right.
And I'm like,
what a sick and depraved bastard.
No, but what is... I often feel what
happened to that guy?
There's a lot of colors to the sexual rainbow, apparently, And
I just like to fuck.
I know, but I don't know. You're a man's man.
Well, a lot of times, guys like that are people that I'm generalizing, but my understanding, they have a very dominant role. Maybe they're a high-powered lawyer, some sort of a job.
Want to be shit on.
Yeah, where they're always in charge, and they need the roles reversed. That's
crazy.
That's what gets them off.
Right, and there's probably people
the mayor. The mayor needs to go there and get
who you wouldn't think is into that type of thing.
Oh, right.
It could be one of us for.
What do they call that? They call that kink.
What's a dick for?
Fetish.
Kinks and fetishes.
Well,
yeah.
So one of these thoughts that I've had, like you said,
sex, drugs, and rock and roll are in the intro.
You never know what people are into, right?
Oh yeah.
You ever think when you're walking around the grocery store, one of those dudes definitely has panties on? And it's probably the one you wouldn't think.
Yeah.
It's not on my mind.
I ordered a thong.
I mean, I don't think about it every time I'm at the grocery store, but, you're waiting in line, and it's just one of those kind of shower thoughts that pops in during the day.
Right.
Yeah.
Grocery store for me is usually I'm with my kid.
Right.
And we do a double, it's she has a cart and I have a cart, and we just run through the place and load them both up, and we do it we're in there we do it once a month. We spend a ton of dough.
My process. I'm not
you're not walking through going, but that dude's.
I used to like to meet women in the grocery store. I like to meet women anywhere.
Right.
But I
you
feel
like to pass notes.
We know this.
Here's my tip of the week for the guys out there, okay? Can we have a tip of the week?
Tip of the week.
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah, just pass the girl a note and like tell her you're a serial killer.
We already covered that one. It doesn't
Yeah.
work for everybody.
All right,
doesn't.
Here's your tip. What's your tip?
Chris's tip.
Here we go. Here we go.
Just the tip.
We should have a segment called Just the Tip, where you give a tip
Yeah,
on sex
yeah.
every show.
Just the
It's
tip.
fucking genius.
We just made it.
We just made it.
It's called
All right.
Just the Tip.
Here's a new segment, Just the Tip.
We just
Chris-
created it. You were here for
Yeah,
it.
man.
I was. I know. I just saw magic happen.
You're part of the creative process. Well, that's what I'm saying. Doing this is fun, bro, because you're like stuff. You think of shit during the week, you jot it down, and you talk with these guys. You're bouncing shit back off each other. It's basically like a venue for us to spitball ideas and theories at each other and air out our shit. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, whether we get listeners or not is not a big deal.
yeah,
Right.
people like it, but just the tip for this week isn't really that great anymore, but I hope it gets better when people are released back into the wild again. I bet it'll be nuts when people are all vaccinated. It's going to be an orgy.
Right.
Do you think so?
Oh yeah.
I think there's a lot
yeah.
of pent-up frustration.
I think, yeah.
I think people who want it are already doing it, to be honest.
No, I know, but I think when people are released back into the masses and pheromones can mix and all the stuff that they're not used to anymore, I think things are going to get
They
crazy.
It's
better-
gonna be like the
they better
Matrix.
be.
I hope so.
The
I hope
rave
so.
part where you've seen the Matrix and where he's fucking. And
I don't know. I don't know about that, but my just the tip for the week, and it's one I used to use all the time, is I think a good place to meet, and this is for girls and guys, right? I think a good place to meet people that if you're just trying to get laid, that's fine. You can pretty much just find anyone you're physically attracted to anywhere and just go for it. Throw your hat in the ring and see if they want to go out with you. But if you want to meet someone that like you might get along with, I think the bookstore is a good place.
Right.
And I don't hang out. I don't read books. So
That's
if
a
I'm,
stereotypical one.
So that's
but
pure-
like Barnes
that's-
and Noble is this big store
Right.
full of shit that's in categories.
So you don't read books. You're there purely
read-
as a predator.
I'm fishing. Does fishing count as a predator? Is fishing predatory? Like, in some of it is.
It's preternatural selection.
I'm fishing for a mate. I'm hunting for a mate. I guess
There
I'm
we
a
go.
predator.
Yeah. There we go.
Like, imagine if she knew you were there for that.
So here's the deal. I think the bookstore is a good place for people to meet because I like sci-fi. Like
Right.
I really want to go LARPing.
Yeah.
Partly because I want to do it and think it's awesome.
wanna
Partly
do it,
because I want to
too.
meet some hot nerd chicks dressed up as elves and
And
stuff.
we can make foam swords and maces
Dude,
and shit.
I've been
I would do
asking this
LARPing
dude.
with you. I would do LARPing.
You could be
I
anything you
would.
want. You could be in charge of
I'd
whatever.
make sick as shields and stuff. And
This guy has an ability to like craft things from scratch,
Right.
like costume prop
Oh, yeah,
shit.
incredible.
And so I was telling him, I was like, bro, you gotta get on some of these LARPing networks,
Yeah.
and start crafting these people some armor because I've seen some like websites of these guys. They've got like $3,000 sets of armor
it's
custom
hard,
fit
though.
to you.
It's so busy. I'm so busy.
I want him to make me a 300 shield, spear, and all the whole outfit. I'm gonna show up one man fucking wrecking machine. I'm gonna be mauling people. Hey,
Well, we would go. We said that if we went, all these dorks would not know what hit them.
yeah, exactly. But the bookstore, man, I'm telling you, you go in there and you go in the section wood carving, and if you saw some girl, I mean, you're married, but like if you were young and you're single and whatever, even if you're old and single, if you went in there and you saw a girl researching wood crafting, you'd be like, oh, hey, what's a technique? I don't know, dovetail?
Sure.
You'd be like, you're working on dovetailing, huh? And if she was like, if she said you didn't know I knew about dovetailing, but do you know dovetailing?
I don't know dovetailing.
It's a technique where they like when they make drawers where they lock together because they make like a notch and it dovetail.
I know one thing. Is it called fracking? When I do wood restoration, it's cracks. What are they called? Like these natural cracks. Doesn't matter.
I don't know, but I want to know if the girl came back and said something, she bounced something back at you like, oh, I'm already way past that. I'm working on this woodworking technique. I don't know. What's another one? Whittling. I don't know. Is whittling? I know whittling.
Whittling.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm picking up what you're putting.
Hey,
Picking up
yeah.
what I'm putting.
Yeah.
So she bounced
What are
back.
you whittling these days?
Yeah, if she bounced back some serious shit at you, oh, I'm building a log cabin from scratch on this property that I made,
Right.
you'd be like instantly attracted to her. You'd be like, whoa, awesome!
Yeah.
I'm carving a boat.
That makes sense.
We should go for a walk in the fucking somewhere. I don't know. I'm into sci-fi, dude. If I meet a girl who knows about Star Trek or Star Wars, it's like it's a bonus point on the 1 to 10 list, right? Like if you're an 8, you're a 9. If you're
Basically, why
10,
you
you're
hang
an
out with
11.
my wife.
Yeah. Look at this dude.
Yeah.
I was at work, and this dude's into horror movies. You're still into horror. Is that
hardcore.
Do you think that's lifelong?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're not really into Star Wars anymore. That's why.
Oh, I am. I'm just not as hardcore about it anymore.
All right. Well,
things change.
yeah, you haven't watched all the Mandalorian, have you?
Yeah, I have.
All right, but it wasn't like you didn't binge it. It took.
Nah, it wasn't like.
You were
like
busy
in the past. I would have gone crazy.
You were busy dying and coming back to life 4 times this year, so I get it. That takes its toll. But yeah,
and
like
those F sessions too.
Yeah.
Midday.
Yeah, all day.
Animalistics.
All day.
Fighting.
It's not all day.
It's a lot. It's a couple times a day.
It's not a couple times a day.
That's the stories I hear. I don't know.
Sometimes
from
maybe.
the missus, not from you either. I hear it from.
It was today.
But I met his wife at work, and she had a Lord of the Rings Elvish tattoo on her arm, and only a nerd would even know.
I told her I was going to marry her on the phone, and I go, "Oh shit! Did I just say that?"
Pump
like
the
in my
brakes.
head. No, I know.
You got to get me pregnant
I
first.
I was like, "I'm going to marry you someday," just like joking, and I pulled back. I was like, "Oh, shit."
Well, it worked out, but yeah, me and this other dude that knew Dan. Knew he was into horror because she was into horror and stuff. She's like, "Oh yeah," she was talking to me. It was a stranger at the time. I didn't really know her. Right. She's like, "Oh yeah, I like Lord of the Rings, but I'm like more into like Friday the 13th and Freddy Krueger." And me and this dude did like we snapped heads and like looked at each other, and we both said unanimously like, "Dan."
Yeah.
And so she's like, "What?" And I was like, "You got to meet my buddy." And she's like, "I don't know." And he's like, "I don't know." And I had to like coax them.
Texted me one day, and I was like, "Who the hell is this?"
I had to like coax them to meet, and then through some circumstances, they end up having 4 kids, and they're having animals. They're having animal sex.
12 years later.
Yeah. So it, when you find someone that has a similar interest to you.
We're very
it helps to go to places that those people hang out.
Absolutely.
Right? And the bookstore seems like a good place to go shopping for people
sense.
that are interested in things you're interested in. Now, like you got dating websites, you can click on topics and be like, "Oh, I'm into gaming, and I'm into this, I'm into that."
Right.
But
Match for you.
I know. But I had already come up with that technique in the real world, is what I want you to know. Okay, and I want to go on record and say that I
don't think
pioneered
anything compares to dating online though these days.
No,
I think it's I don't know. I never tried it. I never got to try it.
Yeah, well, you got hitched early.
Yeah.
All 3 of the men in his family married the first girl that played with their dinky, I think.
That's not even true at all.
I'm pretty sure it's true.
No, it's fucking not true. I called you the night I got laid for the first time when I was 18. So it's not true at all.
All right, fine.
It's not true at all. Okay, so I was all of a sudden just great at sex the minute I had sex.
No, nobody is.
No, but I was when I met Kingsley because I had sex before. Like, what the fuck?
All right, man, I'm making a joke.
God. No. You say it in jest, and you mean it in jest. You're not just saying it.
I know. I don't want to demasculate you in front of anyone.
Oh, no, you already have.
The nail polish was... that's okay with my job. All right, I'm sorry. I'll take it.
I have nail polish, but I also ate pussy today, so fuck off.
There it is.
There it is.
That's a T-shirt right there.
That
yeah,
is a t-shirt.
I get my nails done.
All right, I'm gonna.
I like it. It's like a relaxing thing.
I have
there with your nails.
I have a couple of.
Do you get them done? Like, does your wife do them?
No. I go to Lisa's
place?
nail salon in Drake and they do a dip, which is like acrylic dip, and it's like so strong that like you could like it doesn't chip or anything. Like this is 2-3 weeks. And I've been working with my hands.
What I was going to say earlier, what would be a good invention, and you kind of made me think of it, and the human organ thing made me think of it, was if they could make synthetic skin, that would be huge, because you could graft skin onto burn victims and things like that, but it would also be huge in the tattoo industry, because you could like buy like a thing of synth skin.
They have that already.
Tattoo it. What is it?
It's not like real skin, but it's like a platinum silicone. It's like a sheet.
It holds the ink.
It does not as good as like skin, but like it's better to probably practice on a pig. But if they could make like synthetic skin, like
good luck getting a pig. What would you do? A dead pig?
Nah, they get like you can go to a butcher and get like pig with the skin still on it and stuff. But I mean, I don't think many of them do it. I think they just do it in their leg and shit and like. But they sell the pads though. I know that they sell tattoo pads.
Humans.
And we sell we made suture pads for a medical teaching gig or something where like. It was multi-layer silicone, and you had to you could sew them and suture them. You know.
Fair enough.
Same kind of material.
Fair enough.
Same as a dildo. Same as like a really good dildo is platinum silicone.
So anyway, I don't really have anything else tonight to get into, but we are gonna have some fun shows coming up. I'd love you to listen. Come back, spread us around. You guys got any?
I just, Dan, do you have any more questions?
No, I think I'm good.
I just want to have you close out, give your pitch to the world, and tell everyone where they can find you online. And
all right, so you can find me. The best place to reach me would be probably through Instagram, John Francis Designs, or my website, www.johnfrancisdesigns.com. And if I had a message, it would be to get out there and make something with your hands. I don't care what it is.
But definitely buy something from the website first.
Definitely buy.
Where can they find the amateur porn you've done?
Oh, well, that's gonna. I'll send the menu.
Probably the security cameras from my parents' house. Probably something like that.
Yeah. Cameras
no, if there were, if there were cameras at that house,
they should have put them up.
Dude, kids today. I know we have to close out the show, but kids today are so fucked. Like everyone and their mom has like 6 cameras in their house now.
Yeah.
Like there's no
Or kids. I mean, kids are. You're taking pictures of yourself. You're filming yourself doing this.
Somebody's always has a camera out.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like that they're screwed in the sense that they're going to have a very difficult time throwing house parties because every family has like this $200, like it's very readily accessible. The man has gone out and pitched it so that humans have made it their choice to put recording cameras and devices and audio devices in their house.
Yeah.
And granted, our cell phones are that, right? They've got a camera, they've got a recording device, they're online. Those things are basically a bug. You're walking around bugged all day.
That's it.
Presumably. But now they've made it so that we're like, hey, you want a camera on your doorbell? You want a couple cameras for the house?
Right.
Got to watch the baby. You got to watch the living room. Don't want the living room to not get seen. What if somebody breaks in through the window? You got to catch that angle, right? So people have got like all their whole houses on camera. They're actually paying to have it done. They're like in the 60s, the CIA would have been like, I don't know how you people did this, but you pulled it off. You fucking did it. Everybody's signing up to get their lives put on fucking.
Back in your day, you just had to worry about the Poland Springs water being blue for like a week.
Yeah, my dad found my dad.
Oh yeah, the Mongolian.
My dad saw a garbage bag, like a huge ass garbage bag full of Coors Light cans in the woods, maybe like 30 feet into the woods. Probably I didn't dispose of them there. He was more mad that we didn't put them further into the woods, that we screwed up the cleanup job, than he was that we had a party when they weren't home.
Right.
But you were there. We had crazy parties at that house, man. If those things weren't on camera, they would make
so much fun.
We had parties at that house that they would like make like a 80s crazy party movie about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for listening, guys. Check out John Francis Designs. Buy somebody you care about something crafted out of his wood.
Appreciate
it. Learn how to craft something because this year was a good opportunity for everyone to get a little reality check that like you can't just go to the grocery store. You can't just go to the grocery store and buy what you want anymore.
Bake some bread and make a. What were you going to make, the clay oven?
Oh yeah,
earthen oven.
That's what I
have you. Did you do that? Did you make?
I've never constructed an earthen oven, but I started with the bread. But that is still on my list. Your homeboy has one in his backyard, so people have them.
Learn how to flint nap. Learn how to do something.
Yeah, learn how to do something. So
make model kits. I don't know.
Yep.
Build model kits.
Anyway, that's all I got. We'll see you guys next week. Hopefully we have a really hot guest for everyone. And that is it. See you later.